fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Blue Cam, a cleaner running engine for a cleaner environment.
I'm an all-species angler. Whether it's fishing in saltwater or freshwater, I enjoy fishing for any fish that's willing to bite. While game fish get most of the credit in North America, there's a whole group of coarse fish that don't get enough credit. Among those is the common carp that was introduced in the 1800s by Europeans that came to North America. The reason they introduced those fish is because they regarded them as an excellent game fish, and many still do today. Have you ever seen such a fancy rod holder? This is a classic rod pod that's used for carp fishing. And this particular one is a dual one, so you could have two rods fishing, especially if you're fishing from shore. It actually has a device at the back here that when a fish goes, it actually locks the rod blank so that the fish can't pull it off, because you can get some pretty big carp, you know, over 30 pounds. But the key thing about this is the strike indicator that's right here. So not only does this keep your rod level, and you can angle it, you can get it lower to the ground. By the way, when you don't use it, everything compacts right back down. You could even put it in a knapsack. Watch how sensitive the strike indicator is. I'm going to pretend I'm a carp that's taking the bait very lightly. So you'll see there's like a line mechanism, a wheel in there. You can see the light coming on. So right now we have it on the clicker mode on our center pin. But if that's a carp, as soon as a carp touches it, you're getting the strike indicator. So even if you're not paying attention, and of course when a fish grabs it well, you'll hear it going the whole time. Steve, come on up. Here, come on right beside me, Steve.
All right.
Perfect, you got the mat and everything.
I do.
You know, it's late summer, and we've got this gorgeous weather. We could be out here in shorts. You know, I'm with my good friend Steve, who distributes Carp Zoom in North America. He distributes everything you need if you want to enjoy carp fishing. Steve, this is our first fish.
It is.
Look it. And we're doing something a little different with these long rods.
Yes.
Steve, how do you like the curvature on this rod?
I like the curvature. It's fantastic.
Know, it's so long that you can use light line. Look it, there's that carp right on top. It just gives the fish a lot of torque, right?
Yep.
So even though the line's not that heavy, because the rod is so long, it really puts pressure on the fish. I think this guy just realized he was hooked.
Uh-huh.
Now look, I call this an Italian drag. Notice this is a center pin.
Uh-huh.
It's a 1-to-1 gear ratio, so that means you turn it once, it picks up this much line. Oh, he's still got some spunk. Good thing we got a bit of a long handle. I'm gonna try to...
There we go.
You know what? No problem. Okay, let's get him up here.
Okay.
Now,
it's heavy.
Yeah, Steve has brought a nice mat. So this is used, you know, most guys will carp fish from shore. So you can see, they don't want the fish to slop around, because you know in Europe, carp are very respected. And they have tournaments and they have carp clubs and everything. Look at how beautiful that fish is.
It's beautiful.
I love that sun glistening off him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna get the pliers and get the hook out so we can get the net out of the way. You know what? He threw the hook, which is perfect.
That's great.
Yeah, if you can lift the net out, I'll put him on the mat. There. So here's the mat, and it's actually wet just from the net. So these mats are great. You know, if you're seriously carp fishing and you're fishing from shore, even if you're gonna take pictures and then release the fish, this is a great way to keep the fish nice and clean. And you know what? It doesn't harm them. I know a lot of people don't really care, but we like to take a nice, gentle care. Look at it.
It's beautiful.
Is that a face
fish.
only a mother could love? Nice fish. Okay, Mr. Carp. Oh, stay up. Oh, beautiful. Nice release. Carp are common throughout our Great Lakes watershed, and they've adapted extremely well to our warm water lakes. In fact, they can tolerate very hot, warm temperatures in the summertime, and they're not disturbed at all by a lot of urban fishing pressure. Carp are omnivorous. That means that they eat both animal and vegetable matter. But one of their favorite foods is carbohydrates. Steve, it does not feel like a carp.
It doesn't.
Do you sell Carp Zoom or Cat Zoom?
It is Carp Zoom, but we do have a product lineup of catfish.
I've had some surprises where you get like 15, 20-pound channel catfish. You think you got a big carp on. And it's because they're omnivorous too. You know, they eat vegetable matter and crustaceans and sometimes fish and so on. Okay, Steve, I don't know if I could lift it in the boat with a 13-foot rod, but we're gonna net it. Look at those long barbels. Man, this guy is equipped. Thank you. Good job. Okay, let's get him up here. We'll put him on the mat. Got to watch those spines. Look at the size of those barbels.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
They got to be like 5 inches long. Whiskers, that's what most people call them. You know, you can see the way I'm holding this catfish. I've got 2 fingers on that pectoral spine right there on the side. Got to be so careful, even with the little guy, if he thrashes. But this guy's got the potential of reaching 30 pounds. He wasn't too deep, so it should be pretty easy. No. Perfect. You know what? I don't think we're going to need the carp mat. No. I'm just going to extend my hand and let this guy go. You got to be very careful on the release, too, for those spines. So he's just going to go over the side, and we're going to get back to carping.
All right.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Cable's Eyewear Retainer. Lightweight, comfortable, adjustable, and waterproof.
Carp can adapt really well to the cool, clear, deep Great Lakes, but they're also very comfortable in the very shallow warm water lakes that we have inland. They especially like feeding in marshy, shallow areas where they can find a variety of vegetation, roots, crustaceans, and invertebrates. Even though carp can be caught on worms, and they often do get caught incidentally, one of the best baits to use is kernels of corn, either cattle corn or sweet corn, either plain or treated with different scents and smells, and fished right on the bottom. You're handling that like a pro,
Oh,
Steve.
thanks. I really don't know what I'm doing, but...
I like the way you got the trigger finger ready to go if it runs. Just remember, if it runs, you got to take your hand off it and palm it. But you're doing good right now.
Feels heavy. I'm not sure if it's... I don't know what it is, so...
No, we haven't seen it yet. Just take your time.
Oh,
Come on.
Come on, up.
Oh, it's a nice channel cat.
Oh, nice.
Look at beautiful fish. Have you ever thought about selling catfish bait?
You do, but maybe it should be catfish corn now.
You're doing great. Yeah, that's a nice channel cat. Yeah. So come on up here if you can. Right. I know it's crowded because I've got my rod pod. And just bring him right to the front of the boat, and then I'll net him. Have you handled a channel cat before?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. You know what? This guy is plump. You look like a surgeon.
Yeah.
Have you ever done sutures? That's what it looks like you're...
No, I've received them before, but never...
It's the curved pliers, right? So
yes.
It looks like you're doing stitches. That's a carp fishing channel cat. Most guys don't use corn for their channel cat, but you know what? You did good. Nice fish.
Well, thank you, Italo.
Yeah. Catfish are pretty hardy, especially a channel cat. Good release, right down to the bottom. Yep. Steve, well done. You know, you can catch a carp on any setup, hook and sinker. Some people even get them on artificial lures, but if you're really targeting carp, the most popular rig to use is called a hair rig, and that's what I'm holding up here. So it's a length of, in this case, it's braided line, and you can see at the top, there's some plastic, it's almost like shrink wrap put on it. The reason it has that is when you're using a feeder like we've been using, and with ground bait packed on it, this little arm, the plastic actually prevents the hook when you're casting from coming back and hooking the feeder. So you'll notice that there's a snelled hook, and this one is not very big. So for carp, believe it or not, they've got really good eyesight, and they can smell really well, and they can tell if you're using a bigger hook or not. So to actually put your corn on, you use this needle. And you can see that the needle actually has a little bit of an eye that has a lever that covers it. So what you do is take your corn kernels. In this case, you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different varieties with different scents. Some are in different colors. There's red, there's honey, there's all kinds. This one is mussel. So you would take 4 or 5 of these corn kernels, thread them on this needle, and then you would take the needle once the corn is on there and hook the hair, rig like that, and then slide the corn back on. Once it's on there, you use a little stopper and then pull the corn back down, so that the last thing that goes in the fish's mouth is the hook. Dedicated carp fishermen are really meticulous and look after every detail when they're setting up for carp fishing. For example, they have special rod pods that are portable and collapsible, and they open them up. They attach a rod holder at one end and an electronic strike indicator at the other one, where their fishing line is fed into, so that they can detect the lightest bites. Okay, show me how the center pin stuff works. You got to be careful. If it wants to run, you better let him take line. So as soon as he stops, pick up the line. When he wants to run, go right on the spool. You're doing good. Nice and easy. I think it's a lot of fun.
I think so. I like this.
Just when he wants to go, let some of that pressure off so that he can run. Man, I can see the head shakes. Come on, baby. Oh, got him.
Nice.
You know what? He's not a monster, but man, well, he's a good size. Look at, oh. Look at, isn't that a gorgeous carp?
Sure is.
I think they're beautiful creatures. Perfect scales. And you know what? I've seen underwater footage when they pick up a bait behind a feeder, they see the feeder. That's why they grab it and take off, because they know something's not natural. Nice carp. Can I hold it by the tail? That's the question. Oh, there he goes. This week, I've got the pleasure of fishing with a very good friend who I've known for years. His name is Steve Istvanov. Steve is a distributor for a product called Carp Zoom. This is a very well-known company in Europe that's just started to enter into North America, and they literally produce anything you need if you're a serious carp fisherman. Everything from rods, reels, all the equipment gear, even the pads that you lay the carp on, and then of course all the terminal tackle, the hair rigs, the baits, the ground bait that's used for chumming, and so on. You know, we're doing something a little bit different. We were fishing a channel earlier. Now we're fishing bigger water. Doesn't mean necessarily bigger fish, but a little bit bigger strategy, different strategy. This is actually a shelf. It's about 4 to 6 feet deep, and we're spot anchored with our motor guide in about 10 feet of water in a trench. This is like hooking a big fish like a salmon or a steelhead in a tributary. And I'm used to the long rods. I know you probably think it's kind of weird to have a 13-foot rod, you know, but because of the lighter line, you know, the rod gives a lot of torque, and I enjoy the fight. It takes a little bit longer to get the fish in, but it's so much fun.
Italo, I just saw the fish. It's really big.
There is.
Look
You
how
know
nice
what?
it is.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
The bottom is churned up because the wind picked up, so that might actually help for the fish to find the bait. Okay, Steve, he's slowly giving up. I'm going to try to walk back. If you can walk ahead.
Okay.
See if you can put the net right down on it. Oh, watch the cleat. I think the net's on it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, perfect. Quick, Steve, quick. Here's your chance. Get him right in that hoop.
Oh,
good job. Isn't that a beautiful fish?
Really
Come
nice.
on.
Oh, yeah.
We've got that Goldie sun on there. They are not the easiest things to hold on to.
No.
Oh, and I'm going to try not to like flip out of the boat. He's probably going to slide out of my hands. Oh, there he goes. You know, it's fun to fish for carp from a boat, but traditionally guys will fish from shore. So what I've done is just take a break here. Steve had to go home a little bit early, and I'm fishing a river, and the fishing hasn't been gangbusters. We've hooked a couple of carp, but I'll tell you what, it's so nice. We've been sitting in the shade. We have about 30 degrees Celsius temperature, and we haven't had a lot of hits, but boy, when the carp take, the rods almost go off the rod pod. So come on, come on. You don't see the net, do you? Good boy. The nice thing about the hair rig is that the carp takes the bait, but doesn't get the hook very deep. Look, I don't know if you can see that with the sun. Look how thick he is. You know, in many parts of the world, especially in clean waters, the carp are a delicacy. They're very good eating. This guy, you know, is about 7-8 pounds, very thick, and you can see that mouth. I mean, they go along the bottom. A lot of people think that they're garbage eaters. They're not. They love carbs, so they love getting the roots of the plants that grow in the water. They love invertebrates, crustaceans, but most of all, they like corn and things that are flavored, strawberry flavor, vanilla, honey, and so on. You might be surprised to hear that carp actually have quite a level of intelligence. They have very keen eyesight. They have barbels around their mouths where they can sense the food that they want to eat. And they also have sensory organs on the outside of their scales to taste food before they actually ingest it in their mouth. It's one thing about shore fishing, when the carp goes around trees that are overhanging the water, no! Take the clicker off. Now you can see the curvature on this rod, 13 foot, very flexible. Man, that fish made such a long run. Okay, looks like he's calming down. Once the fish starts to go on his side or on his back, you know that he's ready to be netted. So now I'm going to engage the clicker because I don't want the line to fly off my reel. Now, you know, I tell people, especially people that don't fish that much, it's always good to leave at least as much line out as the length of the rod so that you can pendulum the fish in. Because if your line is too short, you can't get the fish in close to you. See if I can get that net just underneath him. He is in the bag. But you can see all the details. He's in such good condition. And those barbels that they use to sense the food that they want to eat, and I like the way he's looking. He knows he's hooked. So look at his eyes actually looking down. They are so bright. Let's see here how good this guy's going to be. He was good so far. Just going to hold him in the water a little bit. That water's nice and warm. It must be about 72 to 75 degrees. Look at that dorsal spine. I think he's ready. In just a moment, you're going to see, look at that nice yellowy tail. Look at, nice release. Come on, take it. Come on. I can see the rod tip moving left and, come on. Okay, perfect. I love this bend. I'm staring right into the sunlight. Good thing I got my glasses on. And I gotta take that clicker off. It's too bad Steve had to leave. I think he would have really enjoyed this. Okay, I'm seeing it. Oh, not bad. Come on, where are you? Gorgeous. What a beautiful carp. I see that corn on that hair rig. Come on. He's still going the other way. As soon as this guy gets close, I'm going to engage the clicker so my line doesn't fly off, because center pins, you know, release the line. That's why they're so great for drift fishing and even for this still fishing. When you have the clicker on the rod pod, the fish can run with the line a little bit. So I'm going to let some of the line out, so at least I've got 13 feet. I'm slowly turning them. Come on. I've got maximum torque with this rod. Oh, no. He sensed the net. One more time. Yeah, he's a nice carp. Get him a little closer this time. I don't think he likes the shallow water. He can sense it. Come on. Easy with two guys. Not so easy with just two hands. Come on. This guy might be the biggest one from shore. Come on, right in here. Come on, now swim. Oh, you know what? He is a chunky fish. Let's see here how big he is. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to not put too much stress on the net. Look, that's a nice carp. Oh, this is where I get down on my knees, pay my respects. Let's see this fish here. Get some of this vegetation out of there. Give you a good look at this guy. Oh yeah, there's a nice carp. Beautiful, what a fighter. He hit gently, started ripping the line out. He looks like he's hooked perfectly. Look at that beautiful mouth. You can see how they go along the bottom and they can grab those roots, you know, from different aquatic plants and grab invertebrates. And they love corn, can you tell? Look at, there's that Carp Zoom right there. And look at, perfect hook set again, just on the edge of the mouth. See if I can just reverse that hook. I brought pliers with me, but we haven't really had to use them. Look at, stay there. And even though we got lots of dirt here, look, I'm gonna move the net. This carp mat is perfect. And it's nice because the mat is wet from the net that was full of water. Look at, isn't that a beautiful fish? He's so comfy there. I'm not gonna keep him out of the water too long, but look, I just wanna show it to you. I think they're great. You know, they're classified as a coarse fish, but I think they're such great sport. Sometimes it's a waiting game. You gotta wait, but it's worth it when you get one on. What a beautiful fish. You know how you have floating mattresses in your pool when you get wet? Look what I'm doing here. This is gonna be like a floating carp mattress. So, he's in the water. I'm gonna get a little bit of water on here, and he's gonna be ready to go in just a moment. Can you tell? He's a little rowdy. Come on. It's gonna extend him out a little bit. I really like this thing, I'll tell you. Right off the end, watch. There he goes. That didn't take too long.
Canadian Sport Fishing has been brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Blue Cam, a cleaner running engine for a cleaner environment.
You can see with this reel, because it's a center pin, there's no drag system. So I'm actually using my finger and my hand to palm, because it is a rim spool. So it's a great way to total have control over the fish. Drags are great, but a lot of times if you're reeling against a drag like on a spinning reel, unless it has a clutch, you can actually twist the line all up.